Hi everybody, we are back with another ride on our 3-year-old Futurity prospect, Prada. This is a 3-year-old out of our program, registered name Trash by 6, by Inferno 66, and out of our Smart Spook Mare, Ready Spook. This is her second truly competitive event, and it is at the NRHA affiliate, the Eastern Pennsylvania Reining Horse Association in New Jersey. So this is actually the same pattern that we had her first run on in August. This is now September, and this would be, as I said, her second competitive show. So we're going to take you along for this ride and show you details about each maneuver, what we like, what we didn't like, and what we need to improve on before we get to the big event in Oklahoma City. So here we go, entering the arena. This is Trash by 6. So she's entering the arena pretty calm. Again, I think she's with me mentally here. I like her ears going forward and back. She's listening to me whisper to her a little bit, keep her calm. We're going to start in the center of the pen. 2 large circles, 1 small slow to the left will be our first maneuver. I like how she kind of hit the ground there with her hind legs. That's really cool. She waits for me here, gets positioned for that lead departure. That's really good. So going nice and forward off my leg, out in front of me again, which is important in these large fasts. You want to feel like they're just happy running, but they're not running off with you. I feel like she's really a little sticky there coming through the center off that right rein. So I know I still need to work on that steering to the left if I want to be strong one-handed in Oklahoma. And I think you see it even more so here coming through for that small slow. She did come down better this time on the left circles as far as the transition from fast to slow. Steered a little better into that small slow to the left there, so I'm not going to falter too much for that. Gets into the ground really good there. She's straight, set up pretty nice for this turn to the left. Again, I want to make sure she's nice and relaxed before I start that first step in my spins. Now here, I don't know if you remember from the first video, but I feel like we lost a little bit of turnaround. That first run back in August, she was more locked in on that side. Here I felt like I really had to pick her up and hold her in that turn, and we lost a little cadence. We didn't have any penalties there though, so that's a plus for my showmanship. In the right, the large fast to the right, I think she looks pretty good here. Steered really good through that middle there. Got a lot better steering to the right than she does to the left. I feel like I could almost be one-handed to the right with her here. Good comeback in that small slow. Again, pretty sure we plus half this maneuver, which is your right set of circles. She was pretty true there through the reins. Had a good comeback for that small slow. So I'm going to plus half that one. Here again, we're getting ready for a right spins. I want her nice and calm before we start. She kind of stepped out on her own there a little bit, but I kind of went with it just to avoid any penalties. Again, I feel like we lost a little bit of cadence in that turnaround, a little bit of cadence and speed. So I need to make sure we get that back under control before our next class. Now we're coming into a large fast figure 8 again. I feel like she's doing this pretty well so far. Again, she's out in front of me, ears are forward and back, listening to me. Little tough steering there to the left again. Got to fix that neck rein. Right circle here in the second half of this figure 8 is good. The lead change was good right through the middle. Here we come, getting ready for a right to left lead change. Set her up. Boom. Really good. She changed really straight through the middle and exactly in that middle spot, which is what you want. Now we're coming through to our first stop. She turns that corner pretty good, gets straight, and lets me build her through those gears. That's so important in your rundowns. Really good. They're going to plus half that stop. Again, she came through that rollback on the wrong lead, but what I really want you to point out here is when we come through that rollback, she's on the wrong lead. That's not a penalty, but I do need to get her on the right lead before I hit the end around for my next stop. But here we have a little bit of a fight. So when I go to ask her for left to right lead change so that she's on the right lead coming around that end, she kind of throws her head up, gets a little out of alignment, shows me a little resistance. Now keep in mind, as soon as you roll back, they're starting the next maneuver. So this resistance here is going to affect our next stop because it's part of that maneuver. I do end up getting her changed, and then I pick up on her a little bit just to get her relaxed, focused for the next turnaround. This end around was pretty good. She lets me build here again. We go through the gears, 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Pretty good. That's what a rollback should look like. So she gave me a really good rollback. I had to pick up on her just a little bit, if you notice, because she was wanting to roll back and go fast. I picked up on her and she did come back to me, so that's not going to be a penalty, but they might look at that as a little bit of a deduction on the maneuver. But that rollback, her left rollback was spot on. Now we're coming through the end. We're going to get set up for that last stop. And what I want you to focus on is as soon as we turn that corner, she starts to build before I ask for it. So we come around this turn, that's fine. Really good. I pick up, steer, turn, and right here, she says, I'm going. And she was one step ahead of me in that rundown build, which is something that I have to keep in the back of my mind because if I don't fix that now, it's going to become a takeoff in the next show. Her backup was really good. She did get into the ground really good there. And I think they ended up plus halving that stop. But I didn't like the fact that as soon as I turned that corner, she got 2 steps ahead of me instead of 1. So that's in the back of my mind to fix and make sure that I can come around those ends, drop my reins, and she doesn't build until I ask for it. In this competition, we did end up 5th in the level 2, 3rd in the level 1. And I think we ended up marking a 141.5, the same as what we had in the developing futurity a month prior. So with that showing, we did get in the money again, earned a paycheck of over $900 to keep adding to her lifetime earnings. I do feel like I lost a little bit of the maneuver for both left and right spins. So I know now that I had to go home and work on that because I had to hold her into that spin. And one of the things that they need to do when you go one-handed is they have got to lock into that spin until you say, whoa. You can't help them. You can't hold them in there. They have to be asked and willingly guided. But at the end of the day, they have to power around that spin with rhythm, with cadence and speed. And I felt like in this run, we lost a lot of both cadence and speed. So I have to figure out a way from this point to get her more comfortable in that turnaround and more automatic. Otherwise, I feel like outside of that rundown where she got a little bit ahead of me on that last stop, I felt like our circles were pretty good. Lead changes were really good. But I still need to figure out why when I pick up and do a left to right lead change that I get that little bit of resistance. So those are the 3 primary things we're going to be working on before we get to our next event, which I believe is Syracuse. All right. Well, thanks for coming along with us, and we look forward to having you for the next evaluation of our next futurity.